Hello fellow viewers, welcome back to another video. I know it's been quite some time. It's been about a month, and it's been longer since you've seen my beautiful face. And today I just want to go through a guide to modding your K20, modding your 8th Gen SI, and also modding your 9th Gen SI. So this is going to be kind of a guide of how to mod an 8th and a 9th Gen Honda Civic SI, what order you should take it, and why I have those opinions on how much we're looking at. I'll be putting, if I can remember, I'll be putting some links down below on the parts that I discuss in this video. We're kind of in a new thing here. We're in here. I'm on my rig here, my racing rig. If you guys do want to see some of the some stuff with the rig, let me know in the comments. And also after this, we're gonna go into some updates on the channel, where I've been, what I'm going to be doing, and what we're going to be doing in the future. So let's get straight into this. So you want to mod your 8th Gen or your 9th Gen Civic Si. Just for reference, I'm going to be talking about the 8th Gen Civics more specifically in this video, but it mostly works for 9th Gens as well. So let's get straight into this. I personally, so you guys know my background, I've been into Honda since I've been 15. I was 15 years old. So it's been about 6 years now since I've been into Hondas, and I've had plenty of them with all different motors. And I now own a 2009 Honda Civic Si, which is an 8th Gen. It has the K20 Z3. She's full bolt-on, and she's E-tuned. She makes 226 horsepower to the wheels. Makes pretty good power. Short shifter on it and stuff like that. But engine-wise, it's just full bolt-on. So that's really what I'm going to be getting into. So this is a guide for full bolt-on, and then I'll get a little bit more into that if you want to go higher. The K-Series has like the most mods like you could buy for everything. If you thought of it, it's probably being made. But if you want a great daily and you want a guide to mod these and what you should do first, then follow my guide here. So what you should do first. So again, I bought my car completely stock, so I'm going to go through the exact order that I went through, and I think will suit you best, because I've had plenty of friends and people that I know that have gotten these cars and are asking what they should do first and why I think of that, they should do that, and why I think that. So I'm just going to make a video on it so I can help other people. Because I originate from a lot of older cars, and where you could just kind of do anything, but since these are a lot newer, you know, OBD2, there's a lot more sensors, a lot more electronics that can get in the way and really screw your day up, especially if you don't roll in dough like me. I have to be wise with my choices, or else I'll be broke and I won't have a car. So first mod I think someone should get for these cars, period, is Honda. All this money for a little box. Hell yeah, man. I'm so excited. Or K-Pro, K-Manager, some sort of tuning software, some sort of Flash Pro that you get onto the car. This is vital. It's the base that you're going to be using every single mod on. If you don't get Honda or K-Pro first, it's just going to be more of a headache than anything. And if something does go wrong with the next mods, you're going to be in a world of hurt, because you're not going to be able to do anything about it because you didn't buy this first. So I personally think you should go with Honda first, and it's actually awesome. I mean, it really is. Setting up isn't too hard. I have a video on the channel about how to set up Honda, and if it makes your car faster, and it does, it unlocks some horsepower. It can get rid of your rev hang from 8th and 9th Gen, completely annihilate that, basically. You can activate your VTEC a lot lower. You can get launch control, raise your rev limiter to like 8,600, which is a good number for the 8th Gens, and like 8,000 for the 9th, and that's pushing it, but you know. I say that's your best bet, period. It's going to insanely benefit you. Honda has some base maps that you could run. I just used their stock base map, and it worked fantastic. And it just opens up the car a lot more. It made the car about a second faster across the board, and in fact, it made it a little bit faster when it was going faster. It's just overall a really good mod, and even though no one's gonna notice, you know, it's not like you're gonna go by and someone's gonna be like, yo, he has Honda, unless I guess you have a sticker on the side. Even though no one can notice that mod, it's a really good mod. I think you should start with that to begin with. It's a really good idea. Coming in second, and also Honda is quite expensive now. I think it's about $700 now. It's went up by $100 in the last few months because the world sucks and inflation does exist. K-Pro used to be the not as good of an option, but now since the price for Honda has went up, a lot more people are going that route. You just gotta talk to the tuner you want to tune your car and see if he does K-tuner. Some just don't do it, so just talk about that. Honda is more known, and more tuners use Honda. That's why I went with that. There's a guy up in Portland, Oregon. He does Honda more than he does K-tuner, and I want him to use that. I want him to be comfortable, so I got Flash Pro, even though it did go up in price. Next up with the mods, of course, I'm going to be talking about engine mods, not suspension, tires, wheels, and stuff of that nature. I personally think if you have the funds, because suspension, tires, wheels, everything, that gets insanely expensive very fast. Wheels and tires and suspension are like the 3 best mods, period, you could do to your car at all. I got some new tires, but I don't have suspension or new rims yet. But if you want to go that route, I think you should. But again, it's not going to unlock thousands of horsepower on the car, so it's not like you need it. But those mods are always going to be fantastic. So if you can afford it and you can wait, you should get suspension and wheels first, just because those are always going to be your best bet. And don't cheap out on suspension. Don't go Raceland or something like that. Go BC, Megan Racing, stuff of that nature. Or if you really want to go for the fences, go Fortune Auto, something like that. With suspension and tires, the more money you spend, the better quality you're going to get. And that's the same way with parts. For the engine as well. So again, you got to think of that. If you're new to the car scene, the cheaper car, you know, what you pay is what you get, and if it looks too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. So keep that in mind. Don't go buy some $200 coilovers because one person said they were good. They're not going to be good for that cheap, okay? So with that out of the way, before people got all mad and said, well, suspension's going to be the best, we're talking about motor stuff here. So next up is kind of a package deal. Next up is your exhaust time. Okay, and again, like I said, I don't have tons of funds, so I wanted to go in a way where I didn't get in the way, where I didn't have to get a tune right away. So I went with getting an exhaust first for 2 reasons. Again, I didn't want to get a tune right away, and exhausts don't necessarily need an extensive tune because you're just exhaling better, you're not inhaling, so you're not messing with MAF sensors or anything of that nature. So they're pretty simple, where you could just get a base map on Honda and not have to worry about it. And then 2, I wanted to have some sound because my car was stock and it was quiet. So I personally think going exhaust is going to be your best bet for your next mod. And you can do it in pieces. Get your exhaust first and then get your header. Or if you're 9th gen, get your downpipe and get your exhaust. I went ahead and just got the header and the exhaust in one swoop, so I didn't have to go back under there multiple times. That is something important to notice, and they do get quite expensive. And 3-inch exhausts are going to be your most powerful exhausts, and they're also going to be your loudest exhausts. And speaking on an 8th gen level, your 2 options really, your only 2 options if you don't want to go insanely expensive, is you're going to have Skunk 2 Mega Power R, which is the 2.75 inch I think, or the RR, which is what I have, and that's a full 3-inch. And that's about, I think it was about $600 for the exhaust. And there's also a full race exhaust, which is another 3-inch, and it's a lot more quiet, more club racer, but I just like the sound of the Skunk 2 a little bit more. I'm not a big fan of the R&D that Skunk 2 has, and I've said this in my previous videos, but the sound is there and the performance is there if you know how to install something and know how to get around stupid shortcomings that parts have, you could do that. And yeah, and I also got a Skunk 2 Alpha header. If you have an 8th gen, it's kind of the way to go. You can get PLM too. PLM has great quality parts and they do not crack at the wheel. It's like Skunk 2 Alpha headers like to do. You can also get Skunk 2 Mega Power header, which isn't made anymore, but you can still find them around. And that's about it. You can go, but you can go insane. Again, I'm talking more budget-friendly stuff, and I mean those still aren't that cheap. I think I spent really low 400s or high 300s for the header. So it's quite expensive for the exhaust setup, but it really is going to be your most impactful mod. You're going to get sound, and you're getting a lot more power. K-series motors, especially the K20 Z3 and the K24 Z7, respond super well to just breathing mods, so intakes, exhausts, porting, polishing, stuff like that do extremely well because K-series are very efficient. So if you get them more air, they're going to thank you like insanely. So I think that's the next mod, but very importantly, very important, big disclaimer, guys. Before you get your exhaust, you need to get a supporting mod. So you might want to get this before. I should have said this. You need, and I repeat, you need a solid rear motor mount if you want to get a 3-inch exhaust. The Precision Works 70A rated rear motor mount, so that should eliminate it. It boasts quite a bit of stuff from just one piece of metal. It looks really good, nice and shiny and nice and pretty. Don't quote me for a 2.7 or smaller, because I just don't know. They're not as big. They're not as wide, but you need a rear solid motor mount when installing on your exhaust. Don't make the mistake I did. I didn't know about that. I thought I already had one, and I didn't. You need a rear solid motor mount because the way the header is designed, again, the K-series are flipped 180 degrees from like a normal motor. So the header is in the rear, and it sits really close to your firewall, your subframe, and it just goes from the bottom of the car. It sits really close to the bottom of the car. So if you do not have a solid rear motor mount, with launching and just moving of the motor on stock bushings and mounts, it's going to flex, and your header and exhaust is going to hit subframe, hit the firewall, hit everywhere, and it's going to rattle and clunk and make horrendous noises, and this will also cause your header to crack. This is where a lot of people say that Skunk 2's quality of header is really bad, but I know a lot of these people that complain about that do not have a rear motor mount, so that's why it's cracking a lot. And I can't say that's all of them. I know Skunk 2's quality is really bad, so mine might crack even though I have one, but it just gives the most power for your bang for your buck. But you need a rear solid motor mount. Don't be worried about vibrations. I think it added like the slightest bit, like just a tad bit. But if you are wanting to get a 3-inch exhaust anyway, I don't think you're that worried about vibration. But a little bit, I get that. You don't want it rattling and going nuts. And it doesn't, since it's only a rear motor mount, you don't really have to worry about that. It sits behind the oil pan pretty much. So you do need that, okay? And so after you get the exhaust, your header, and your rear motor mount, you can just go on your Honda on your laptop, or you can do it on a desktop computer like I have. I don't have a laptop. I just borrowed one for the videos you've seen with Honda. And you just get the base map for the exhaust, you click that, and that's good. And that's all there is to it. Skunk 2, I'm only saying Skunk 2 because that's what I know of. It already comes with like these bunks so you could hook up your O2 sensor. Your O2 sensors, so that worked really well. And again, if you want to get more in depth, I have a video of the exhaust install on the channel. So that's really simple. Coming up to the next mod, I guess the third or fourth mod if you count the header and exhaust and the rear motor mount, so is the air intake. All right, update. We got the intake on here. Got all hoses. We're filling up coolant now. Since you're supposed to drain it. I think I forgot to say that. Battery's down there now, looking really good. And look at that, shifter cables are exposed, so if you want to do your shifter and stuff right there. So, only thing left, antifreeze. Might need to have to do a reflash on Honda to tell it that, like, hey, this is here now. So this one, I had a buddy of mine wanting to do his intake first, but I got him to go away from that. Intakes are a little more advanced than they are in like 90s cars. On these cars, they're a little bit more finicky. For example, mine. When I installed my intake, it was really finicky, and it was putting it into limp mode a couple times. It just gets really confusing. I have a 3.5-inch short ram intake from Ktuned that aims towards the headlight. I'm going to get a little more into that in a second. Again, on an 8th gen. I'm not sure if 9th gen has that one. But there's a couple things you need to know about short ram intakes. If you want cold air intake, go ahead and do it. Obviously, that's the best way to do it. Again, K-Series like to breathe. And if you can get as much air as possible, go ahead and do that. So cold air intake is the way to go. But I live in a place where it rains constantly, and I just didn't want to cover it. I didn't want to worry about it, and it's my daily. I drive it so much all the time. So I just didn't want to worry about that. So I wanted to go with short ram. If you're looking for cold air, Skunk 2 has an okay one. It's not that great. Again, I like to stay away from Skunk 2 if I can, right? Even though I have their whole exhaust system, I'm pretty much done with them, and I don't have anything else. I have a shift knob in their exhaust system, and that's like it, right? But there is Skunk 2, which makes an okay one. Ktuned makes a pretty good one. But if you're gonna ask me, I think Hybrid Racing has the best one possible. Hybrid Racing makes a fantastic cold air intake that actually has a function to where water can't get into it. But it can, it's just a safety precaution, and I just didn't want to really worry about it, so I just went with short ram. Again, 8th gen owners, Ktuned makes a short ram intake kit that goes behind the headlight, which is fantastic. It is amazing, and it keeps temps way, way, way down. I've never seen it ever get hot. In fact, sometimes the intake temperatures are too low. Sometimes when it's too cold outside. It does a fantastic job, because if you guys do know, you want cold air in your motor. Engines like cold air, not hot air. And most short ram intakes on these cars are really stupid, and they aim back towards where the header is, and it gets really hot back there. So really stupid design. So if you have an 8th gen, get the Ktuned one that sits behind the headlight. It will save your life. And it also comes with a battery location kit where it goes down into like your fender liner area, and it also comes with a radiator hose for a reroute. So it's a really good kit, and it cleans up real nice because it moves your battery out of the way, it gets the horrible air box out of the way, there's a lot more space, and it just looks good. I have a video on the channel of how to install it and what it's like. And I also know that the K&N Typhoon intake is actually pretty decent. So I only know 3 options that are good. You got the Ktuned short ram that aims at the headlight, the K&N Typhoon that I know they make for the 9th gen, and I know it's pretty good because the red SI we have out there, the 9th gen has one, and it's pretty decent. And then if you don't want to get any of those, if you just upgrade to a K&N drop-in filter, I've heard those actually work pretty decent from my tuner. That it's not that bad actually. It's just I don't like the stock airbox in there. It just doesn't look good. So Ktuned was the way to go. But again, it was way more finicky going from a really restrictive airbox all the way to a 3.5-inch short ram. It really freaked some stuff out. Even though the MAF sensor was in there and everything, it still freaked it out a lot. It did not like it. So I went and got a tune right after that. And that's why I urge you guys to wait until you can get a tune when you get your intake, because it's probably going to want one at that point. At that point, you're sucking in a lot of air and exhaling a lot of air. The motor suddenly has so much, and it really doesn't know what to do with it. And I've heard some people get away with it, but if you got the intake and you don't have enough for a tune, you're kind of screwed, and the car is not going to work for you. Because again, they're more finicky. These are, they're newer cars. There's more sensors, and they are getting a little older now. So some of the sensors may be pretty pissy once you just feed it all this air. So right after I got the intake, I got my tune, and I got it E-tuned. I did not get it dyno tuned yet. I just don't see a reason for that. And in fact, it worked extremely well. And there you have it. I mean, that's full bolt on at that point. That's those 3 to 4 mods, if you count the rear motor mount as the 4th one, or 5th, I guess, because of Honda. Those 5 mods got me to 226 wheel horsepower. Again, the K20, if you don't know, the K20 Z3, the 8th gen, makes 197 horsepower to the crank. So you're probably pushing like high 170s or low 180s to the wheel. And now we're pushing 226 to the wheel. Pretty impressive. It red lines at 8,600. My VTEC is at 4,000. It makes max RPM. It makes max horsepower at 7,200 RPM and max torque at 7,000. Because K20 life, no torque. And that's it, man. And at that point, you could pretty much be done unless you want to do more. You could then, at that point, if you want to go past that, I'd say your next mods would be that are really good. Would be put some cams in. Now, if you have an 8th gen, I'd say go with a Type S oil pump if you already haven't done that. The Type S oil pump can feed oil to your motor a lot more and it won't starve out. That's why I don't redline my car to 86 very often. I just have a fear of that. If you get the Type S oil pump in, you could rev it to close, if not 9,000 every once in a while. It's absolutely insane. The Type S oil pump feeds a lot further, and there's no balancers in the oil pump, so it's a lot lighter, and it just gets oil where it needs to be. Because obviously, when you're redlining at 8,600 or past that, you want to have oil everywhere. So Type S oil pump is pretty good. I don't think you could do that for the K24 for the 9th gen. So sorry about that. But especially for an 8th gens, do that. And then from beyond that, I'd say build your head. You know, get some drag cartel 2.2 cams in there or more. Some valves, some springs, some keepers. And make sure if you do build your head, you go ahead and get yourself a chain tensioner from maybe Hybrid Racing. I know they make one. Go ahead and get one of those because K-Series are known to... The chain tensioners are known to wear out once you have higher lift camshafts. So keep it, if you're not going to upgrade that, which I think you should, at least keep an eye on it because it's the last thing you really want. And obviously, past that, it goes bonkers. Then you could do your bottom end, you could turbo it, do all that. But that's really your guide to getting your K-Series to full bolt-on for an 8th or a 9th gen. 9th gens, you guys are going to have a lot more struggle with building your head because your head is so weird and so unique with that downpipe design. I know that I think 4-Piston Racing just made some cams for you guys. I haven't heard anything about them, but it's really... You guys don't have much option whatsoever. So that is an option though, so go ahead and try those out. I just know 4-Piston Racing is really expensive because they are top of the line stuff. So that's really cool to know. But that's about it for that, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. If you do have a question or a comment that I got something wrong, put it in the comments down below. I'd love to have a chat with you guys. I love how engaged you guys are. You guys are all really nice to each other. To me, I really appreciate it. You guys seem to be really respectful, really cool, and that's really cool. That's what I'm here for. Have a respectful, cool fan base so we just talk about our love for cars, our passion for cars, and just love to do what we do. I really appreciate it a lot. So if you guys have any more questions, let me know. So let me get into some channel updates for you guys here. Okay, channel updates. I haven't been here in a while. It's been about a month. It's been more than that since I've actually talked to the camera, and it kind of sucked, but I apologize. It's not something I wanted to do. I really enjoy making these videos, talking to you guys, engaging with you guys. It's extremely fun. But a couple things have happened. I'm not going to get super in-depth with it just because it's a lot of personal stuff. Health issues. Seeing family members I haven't seen in a long time that don't live close by. Crazy weather and work. Okay, so like quite a bit of things that's just getting in my way to not be able to make the content that I want for you guys. I don't want to just throw content out there I'm not proud of, and I want to say the right things, do the right things, and stuff like that. I just haven't been able to mod my car either because of work. I haven't been getting enough hours because of things going on in my life. I haven't been able to purchase new things for her. So I haven't been able to do that kind of stuff, which I really love doing. So that's kind of a bummer. But such is life. I'll just think of more topics to kind of speak with you guys. So coming up on the future of this channel, really, I'll do more POV videos if you want. I could do more topics. Just send me some topics you want me to talk about. I'd love to talk about it. I have a few car reviews coming down the line, but it's middle of winter. There's snow outside. It's been really bad that I'm not about to go drive these people's cars in these really horrible conditions. I have this really special car that's not a Honda that I have a review coming out for you guys, and I can't wait for that car. There's no way I'm driving it when it's snowy outside and there's no grip on the road, because that is a recipe for me to die. But also, one other big thing, guys. I am enrolling in trucking school very soon. And it's something I've always wanted to do since I was a little kid. I drive for a living. That's what I do. But now getting my CDL. And I would love to bring trucking content to you guys if I get that far. Let's say I pass. I don't see why I wouldn't. I'd love to bring that to you guys. So I want to know what you guys think. Would you guys like to see that side of me as well with trucking and stuff like that? Something I'm extremely passionate about. So yeah, I hope to bring back my weekly content. I want to do that. So, okay, so camera shut off. But I do want to just hurry up and say, if you guys do want to see trucking content at a later date, let me know. I'd love to show my passion with you with that stuff. Absolutely. But I appreciate you all very much. Thank you for sticking around. We're at 520 subs now, which is insane. I started this as a passion project, you know, just talking about my passion, showing, telling you guys what I love, and just sharing my passion and educating people that just might not know, or just people that want maybe a refresher, or just love, you know, Hondas and cars and everything of that nature. So, I really appreciate you guys being around. Having 520 subs, I mean, that's kind of nuts. I mean, that's more people. I think that's around, like, my entire school, like, the amount of people in my school. I think I might have more subs than my entire school, which is insane. You know, put it that, people get, you know, you can get so caught up in just numbers. But if you think about it, like, if I had my entire school in a room watching my videos, that'd be insane. You know, that's nerve-wracking. I would be nervous, you know. So having that many of you guys watching my stuff is insane. I absolutely appreciate you all. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in hopefully a week. Peace out, guys.